Let's do this. So hello there everybody, welcome back for another week of Wargames Tutorial Thursday with your host, your favorite Finn. This is the weekly Q&A FAQ news about the Interstellar Marines development, unofficial, so yada yada yada, weekly community gathering, something dark side. I'm sure you get it by now. And without further ado, let's get to the news, shall we? Slowly but surely, the Unity updates are being worked on, and that's more or less about it. Haven't heard any other news from the team so far. I guess I could try to ask from the people that are working on them, how is it going, if they have some specific tasks that they have done and all that. But that's gonna have to wait for the next week, eh? Now, one thing, however, I got a good subject to talk about today, or, well, good and good, it depends how you see it. I saw a suggestion from Sergeant Giggles related to the stuff in game about some indicators for various things, and I sort of like the idea, but I disagree with the implementation and whether those things should be added in any sort of, well, whatever, if they should be added, and I'll get to that. Yeah, well, let's go into detail. So the idea was that just a second. Da, 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 da. So, as I was saying, so indicators to show on the borders whenever I believe there's when there's a box on the ground and some sort of indicator for the what do you call it, the these uplink towers. And his idea was to like add a border, like a highlight border. That's how I understood it. But rather than have each map bordered, they could have tiny icons on the corners here, or maybe on the big map itself. Either way, it'll have like a satellite icon and a drop crate icon, whatever that would be. Maybe just a crate that would be either be red or green, or maybe and maybe yellow. It's like red means it's not there or it's not activated. Yellow meaning it's coming, and green is it's in there, or something like that. Maybe different color when like blue, that it's been neutralized. I don't know, just throwing out ideas. But so that would be the icon to indicate stuff that I would prefer, rather than, you know, touching the map borders and all that. But as for the idea itself, I disagree, because if you tell all this information to the players, it's gonna change the way they play. For instance, there are most people, overwhelming majority, who don't really care much for the getting as many points. They just want to stay alive and play safe. More or less just gonna be like, alright, there's a drop crate here and stuff like that, so they're gonna avoid that map.
Access to operations initiated.
While the others are like, oh, I'm just gonna go over there. I didn't, like, it's gonna help people who are not paying attention, such as myself. So people who are actually paying attention to the announcements and all that kind of get sort of punished. Like, yeah. It's some stuff that you're gonna remember for, so, yeah. But overwhelming majority is probably just gonna avoid that map in general. And also it's gonna make that, alright, so the dropper is here, and for the people who like to collect points, it's great, because they now can just go to the satellites that have not been activated, while the other people, you know, do other stuff like, just a second. I'm wondering if any of these is a player bag. There we go. So basically they have just a cheat list essentially to... Fuck me. I couldn't hear him at all. Damn it. To check where, you know, they could go for the 3 points. Because they don't have to, you know, go actually check whatever these radio stations are. They can just look at the map like, oh, okay, these are not activated in here. Okay, that was a quick reaction time from the bot. But that's basically my gist of it, why I don't like the idea. Like, we already have, like, all these indicators for the boxes as it is, but it's only so close, so I guess it will do. But basically, these indicators would essentially allow people to just play as safely as possible, or as I like to say, as cheap as possible, and I hate stuff like that. I'm trying to come up with a good example for, I don't know. Giggles hasn't activated any, despite the fact he died. So is Wicked here? No. Well, he scared the living shit out of me and died on a bot. Is this his bag? It was someone's bag. Jungle. Well, okay, that's just happened. In a way, it's like the people who hide in the toilets of the PUBG. I mean, because you don't have to go anywhere. Why, you know, nothing's stopping you from just sitting inside a building for the half an hour, so long as you are in the zone. Which kind of, yeah, it's a strategy, but it sort of also kills the whole gameplay aspect. You are not really playing the game. Well, technically you are, because you are surviving, but still. For the other people, such as myself, you know, I'm actively trying to look for the other people to kill. Then again, that's just my playstyle and all that jazz, but... Damn it, damn it, damn it. It's basically a discussion, you know, which is the intended and which is... Yeah. In a way, they're both intended playstyles. But one of them isn't really playing the game. It's kinda just, you know, being cheap. You know, cheesing. That's the that's the word I was looking for. One is playing the game, and the other one is cheesing the game. And that would be sitting in the toilet. It is a terrible example. I'm always terrible when it comes to making any sort of examples. But there you have it. Where did I die? No, right here. Oh, someone's here. Found him, didn't get him. Who was it? Damn it. Sergeant Giggles. With good luck, he might revive me. Trying to get my bag. I don't think so. Oh, he died. But yeah, a good example is that the people already in this game go hiding when they have a certain amount of points. And those are points that no one will get. It's, you know, that's cheating the game. Because, yeah. I don't know how to explain it. Like, yes, it's a legitimate strategy. You can't go hide. No one's stopping you from that. But that's sort of killing the entire idea of the game in a way, in a sense. I'll get the bags. Of course, the player comes around the corner as soon as the bot decides to burn on my ass. But yeah, basically what those indicators would allow is people to get those points and then cheese it. Essentially. You know, go hiding, and etc. Or they could just, you know, they know, alright, people are probably going for this box, so they'll just go for the furthest possible. Oh, good lord. Hello? Okay, I got lucky there. Furthest possible. I'm gonna die. Somehow I didn't die from the fall damage. But anywho, I know I'm sort of going all over the place with this whole explanation, and it's not exactly working out per se, in a way. Like, nobody's probably getting what I'm saying. In fact, that is whole likely no one's getting what I'm saying. Let's see. Wicked has 1,400 points, so he's probably in jungle. One thing, however, related to these whole things is that what I would sort of approve is have an indicator on a hell, maybe just a number, to see how many uplinks are up in total. It doesn't say which ones, it only says how many. Jesus, you scared the crap out of me, Giggles. So, in the corner of here in hell, or maybe in the middle, whatever. In here somewhere, maybe in the smaller one, it would say how many uplinks have been completed, initiated, whatever. Like how many there are up going right now. So giving general information like that is fine. How many uplinks are completed so far, how many are still offline. That's fine. What I wouldn't be fine with is showing the maps that have not been activated. Because if the players are not hiding and they actually move, they have to watch out. They have to be careful. If they just go hide, they don't need to do anything. They just rely solely on luck that nobody ever finds their obscure spot that they are hiding in. And that is more or less what I would approve of, kind in a way. I was thinking initially like that, you know, maybe have like a beams connecting to hell to see which ones have, like, where the uplink is coming from, but that again would show where and which ones have been activated, so you can go for the rest. So rather than that, you would. I have a feeling Wicked is somewhere here. Okay, that's not a player. Yeah, more or less, I'm against sort of any kind of precise information that would make... I don't know how to say it. Basically, if it's a precise information that will help people to essentially cheese, I'm against it. But if it's like... general rough information, that is something that I'm fine with. Like how many uplinks have been connected total, rather than seeing exactly the ones that, you know, have or have not been. Incidentally, what would be even better is allowing to people to make notes in game, or like a checker list in a way. I don't know how this would be implemented, but you could like have a marker, a set of waypoints essentially, but you would they would be only visible on the map itself. For instance, just have icons, some generic icons like an arrow basically saying go here, or a crate. You can mark it up on the map if you like, if you're gonna shoot it out. You know where it is, you're gonna mark it, you shoot it out, and you wait for the later. And you know where it is because there's a marker on the map. And with that, you could also use it so that if you hear someone activating a jungle satellite, you can just put the satellite icon on the jungle. And maybe they could show up in a bigger, like, they would show up, I don't know, maybe size of these. Or something like that in the big map, and then they would be larger on the small map in here on the sides. So you could basically, or you know, just add them to the corners here, and you know, satellite and a box. You know, that map already has those both. Had those both, and you can figure out the way. That way, you can mark yourself that all right, these maps have already got the crates and all that. Similar the way that. I don't know, this is a terrible example, but Trouble in Terrorist Town has, when you press tab, you can mark some notes on the players, like, you have options like suspicious, confirmed, detective, like you can add those things on some servers. I'm not sure if all of them had, but I know some of them allowed you to actually, so just pressing the tab you could see what kind of notes you have put on them. I never used it, but it's a similar sort of idea here. And people who don't use microphones can also use them to sort of communicate where they're going next. And also remove the icons. No idea how that would work. Maybe just drag them. Like have a list of icons here and you could drag them to the small map or the big map. Or maybe just drag them to the... Maybe here, list of icons you can drag them away. Maybe you can only drag only yours away. And your teammate... You could see your teammates... markers, but you wouldn't be able to remove them unless there's a special like maybe a tick box somewhere that allows the entire team to move them and see them. So numbers, icons of various kind, that sort of thing. And that would be precise information, but it is information that you have gathered and figured out with your, you know, yourself and the team. It's not like you actually have to find that information out. It's not something that's automatically given to you. But then again, it would allow people to cheese, but it's a fair game because they got that information already. So It just helps them to keep it updated. It probably would help me a lot is I could just mark, alright, here's the next box. Maybe you could, yeah, different color boxes, like, and maybe one is open and the other one is closed. I don't know. Also different colors. Green, red, etc. Maybe there would be a button to switch color so you would have the same icons and you just change the color palette. There's a button that switches the color palette for all of them. Just ideas. Just saying. That would be... Overall, this whole 15-minute rant here is basically how I would implement such indicators. Rather than telling the players... Telling the players where is what. And what has been taken, give them tools to keep that easily memorized themselves in-game without having actual paper or some tick box list, which doesn't really take any effort, but nobody wants to take it that far. It's like, oh, you actually have a cheat sheet with little boxes and you just tick where, like, just... like, have a piece of paper that you have printed. Takes like less than 5 minutes to do, but nobody wants to like make that small effort to actually print out a cheat sheet that you can... Oh, it was Canyon. Huh, I thought it was Wetlands. Oh well. So nobody wants to do effort outside the game to actually do that. Rather, you would give them the tools in-game. But make it so that they actually have the work. Like, rather than just giving them what do you call it? We got some space here, like stuff to click on to like, alright, stuff like that. You just give them the icons and they have, they can do whatever they want with those icons. Because, like a kind of checklist thing, it's very limited what people can do with it. They can more or less just... Yeah, they're limited by that format. Like, they can do a checklist, alright, resort box taken. Or maybe you click on a map and then you have a tick list here for various things. Like points gathered and all that jazz. Sure, you can do that. But that's like, it's so limited. But with the icons, you can do so much more than what they are intended for. You know, you just give people a set of icons and they go wild with them. Rather than, you know, just having a tick list. Ideally, you would have both. Some sort of checklist. I don't know what would be on that. But checklist and the icons. Something like that. I recently watched the Let's Play crew from Rooster Teeth. They played, the Achievement Hunt or whatever. They were playing, I think it's called Cluedo or whatever. You have to guess who the murderer is. But no, any of the players can be murderers. They have to find it out. I don't remember the name of the game, but basically the murder happened. Who's the murderer, with what weapon, and in what room. And each player has set of clues for those things, and you have to figure out which of the three things are not included. And you take notes on the game so that, you know, without going too much into details, because it would take long to sort of explain how it works. But basically, you suggest who did where, with what weapon, in what room. And you would take notes like, alright, it's not this weapon, it's not this room, it's not this person. Depending which of the clues you've been provided. Because somebody had that clue. And you just, by the process of elimination, you'll figure out who the killer is in the end. And, yeah. You also get an option to finally, like, rather than suggest who it is, you can accuse, but if you accuse wrong, you lose the game. So, yeah. It's part of the game to take notes. And that's why a set of icons would work. And it would be far easier to implement than just having maybe an option to write text on a map and then have the other people to see it. I don't know. So now that I shot it out, I could just leave it there, mark it on the map like, boop, there we go. Drag an icon from here, there, and just leave it. And maybe go collect points somewhere else. You know, and basically hope that nobody was around to see this, so I'll just wait for the next crate to show up so people would divert their attention to there, and then I would come and pick this up later from somewhere else rather than just sit here looking at the box. Although I know where, despite where I know it is or something like that, yeah, somebody might take it. But that way you don't have to put the quote-unquote memory into actually remembering where the box was, because, you know, I've marked it on the map. And, yeah, for me, this is all, like, even without the indicators, it's fine, because I have more or less I have played so long that I simply have memorized the locations of the boxes, so usually I just, depending how far it is.
Subarctic. Drop crate. ETA 60 seconds.
Subarctic, so I gotta go north that way. I have memorized the locations of the boxes in more or less all the maps, so just by looking at the range indicator and quick look at the map, I know which box it is. And I can just navigate to it more or less. But it would be helpful, especially for new people, that they could just mark the... who knows, even, you know, some might go as far as to mark all the locations where the box drop, helping them to memorize. So like, or maybe even like drag an icon. Like, all right, I checked this. Maybe like an icon. Well, that's like two icons, box and the red X. Like red X is something that's probably, you know, gonna be in there. So you would like have a bunch of boxes here, and you would mark with the red X the locations that you have checked. Because, you know, when you come to the map and there either has been fight already by the box or somebody has taken it out, you know, something like that, I don't know. But I can't come up with a good situation right now. But basically, you would be able to... Ah, damn it. One, if not both, are here.
Alert. Second satellite uplink aligned. 1 remaining.
Nope. Giggles just died. To what? The CTR. Alright. That's 3 points for me. Unless he gets revived, in which case it's still 3 points for me. He probably didn't even realize that it was I who shot him, and the CTR simply finished him off. So even if he does get revived, they have no idea who's coming their way. Oh, yeah, they're both there, so... this is probably not gonna work out at all. They're above me. Sounds like they're coming down. outside. Looks like they know I'm here. So they do know that I shot them with the silenced gun. Are they coming down? There we go. So they knew I was around, definitely. They just didn't know where.
Alert. Resort. Drop crate. ETA 60 seconds.
Oh, who knows? Maybe you'll just, I don't know. When I was talking about the adding combination of like the tick boxes here, maybe they would have a just like a button to add note or add note or something, and with the tick box, and you can just add a custom note, and it would be map specific, or maybe you would have general notes and map specific notes. You know, general note: kill Finn. Kill Finn. Kill Finn. I don't know. Personal notes and team notes, perhaps? So you would have separate notes for whatever. I think that would be much better for the co-op. I don't know why. Well, some people would probably want it, especially if you're playing with the random. So, let's say you have a specific equipment with you, and you're playing with new people, so you don't like with your friends. You usually know what people are carrying and whatnot. So you could maybe add notes that. Well, I missed every single shot. Like, who is the medic, or who's carrying the medical supplies, or something like that. I don't know. Something along those lines. Let's see if he continued running or whatever he's. Smarty. Oh, not hiding in those bushes. And I missed. Easy shot on a stationary target, and I shoot the rock below him. Well, resort it is. It's over there, so through mountains from the looks of it, which is over there. Nope. Didn't see you there until I heard you, and you came out of the shadows. Okay. Couldn't do anything about you there. In a way, I think it would be the supply crate would be much more interesting if they didn't have the waypoint indicator for the players. Rather, it would be only the lights and the sound. Similar to the well, in PUBG you have the smoke bomb basically, but you can always see where it, because you can see the entire play area at all times, more or less. And you know, you can hear the plane coming, you can see the direction it's taking, so that already narrows it down where could it be. But it's easy to actually miss. Like, the amount of times I've like, alright, the box is right around this corner. Nope, no idea where it dropped. But yeah, the smoke makes it a little bit easier to see. And a similar way, well, we already know which map it's landing, and all the spots are fixed. So it only has so many, it's not random, it has only so many spots where it will land. So rather than giving me this exact icon to show where it is, you would actually have to follow the beams. And that way you would have to actually memorize the locations where they are at. So you would basically check them one by one. But still, like, it would keep people more time to get to the box because you don't have a waypoint indicator saying exactly where it is. Rather, you have to follow it, the sound, and the beeps. That's my take on it. That way it would be also like fair game. I don't know, but like how would I say it? Like, in my book it makes more sense. It's more balanced. Like right now, anybody can. I think industrial was next. I can't remember. Or maybe, I don't know. Industrial is there. I don't know. Whatever. I'll go through the ops. But yeah, I think it would be more balanced in a way. Like, it makes it harder to actually just sit and camp the box. Because rather than just, you know, having a straight beeline to go where it is because you know exactly how far it is from you and you know its precise location, you would actually have to, like, alright, follow the sound, like, where is it? Like, you know it's somewhere around this area, but you're not sure unless you remember where the box is. Or maybe just take even the lights out. Just have only the beep. I don't know. But yeah, it would make it harder to camp. Obviously, people are still gonna camp it, and that's fine. But, like, yeah. It would be safer to get the box safely, in a way, too. Because, yeah. It takes you a bit of a more detective work to do when you don't know how far you were from the box. Like, let's say, it's one thing if I'm 50 meters next to the box and it goes out, I know that it's somewhere almost next to me. But if it's 300 meters that way and people take it, I know it's still across on the other side of the map. But if I have just the audio cues, I'm not sure. It's somewhere in that direction, but it could be anywhere. It is, like, anywhere on the other. This is a bit of a bad spot because there's the water there, but it could be basically somewhere halfway across the map. Because the beams are not actually that You can hear it from across the map. So gauging the distance with just audio alone until you get close to it is actually pretty hard. So when somebody shoots it out when you're a decent distance away, it still is like, alright, I need to hurry, but I'm not exactly sure where it was. Whereas if you look at the distance meter, it's like, alright, somebody took it out, I just need to run this direction. Like, you know exactly where it is, more or less. And that's that's why I don't like the distance indicator or the waypoint in general, because it gives away too much information. Like, yeah. Where was the subarctic? No. Yes. No. No. Luna. Fuck. I'm going the wrong way. Or then again, maybe just get rid of the indicators overall. That would make it interesting. Like, you just have an announcement that a crate is dropping, and you see it drop from the sky, but you don't get a waypoint, audio cues, or the, what do you call it? The sound, the lights, they're all gone. Just add something, you know, to make it different from the rest of the boxes, in a way. Make the landing more dramatic. Like, get rid of the audio and all the HUD cues and all that. Something subtle. That way, people would, alright, see it's dropping, but also the whole lack of the indicator means you can't tell whether it's been looted or not. Like, see, I know exactly where it is now, but with the audio, it's like, alright, is it like, nope, it's getting louder. Well, speaking of audio cues, the announcements make it a bit harder. I think that the audio announcements should do a rework. Like I've said before, there's just way too much audio noise on the game. Noise pollution. There's just too much of it. Like, to be honest, I don't know how they could make the audio cues better for the announcements. But there's just way too many of them. And they happen at the same time. Like, I don't think the time indicator, that's a worthless one. You can get rid of it in my book. Like, you don't need, you can always check the time in here. Maybe, damn it, change the location of it somewhere, because it's kind of sort of obscure and small over here. Unless you, like, I don't know, in a way, for a new player. But, yeah. So, with all the indicators gone, except, you know, unless you visually see the box landing, you actually have to search for it. And that would mean that the people are actually moving on the map. They would have to check different locations to see, is the box there? Or, like, is it still there? Or has it been looted? That would make the game much more interesting in my book. So there would be more exploration and less sitting still and all that jazz. And I think the precise indicator where this bag also drops is kind of like, sure, it helps me to narrow down where the fight is, so I can actually join and get the points myself. But like, I just hate how much precise information you get for no real reason. Like, it would be much better if it was just someone died on this map. Or maybe like a total points like dropped on the map. Have it somewhere on a corner, but don't give the exact location where those bags are, so you would actually have to search for them. Which, in a way, you know, in PUBG, when you kill someone, you just get everybody just gets the message that, alright, somebody has been killed. If you were nearby, you would follow the audio cues and all that. But one thing I hate is that the crates, when you kill someone, it drops a loot crate. In a lack of better term, to the ground. I'm sure, basically it drops a bag. But those bags blend to the freaking ground in that game. Like, and I have so many, yeah, on the hill, on the so many times in the uphill, I have lost count how many, how much loot I have lost, because I would have gone for meds and all that, and I just haven't found the crate, because it blends with the grass way too well. Hello? Well then. But yeah, that's more or less what I would love to see myself, is just give general information to the people, not exact locations. It's, in the lack of better term, it's an equalizer, in a way. I hope I'm making some sense out of this. I've been going on about this subject for quite some time now. But, yeah. That's my 5 cents about the whole indicator thing. General ideas. General information, but not the exact ones. Make people actually have to figure this stuff on their own. Like, alright, it's over there. I probably, just with the audio cue alone, I would have run that way first. But, you know, depending where you come from, you could be...
Exercise concludes in 5 minutes.
Okay, the last 5-minute warning is fine, I guess. But, like, okay, now just listen to that audio pollution. If all the indicators are gone and I'm trying to listen to this, Sarah is just blasting my ears when I'm just trying to find all this. They could be in text, like it is in PUBG, and that text doesn't affect the gameplay. It's, well, the markers, like you have markers and the text saying, you have like a HUD stuff that says all the relevant information that you would need. Like, when is the next zone gonna move?
Docking bay has been breached.
Okay, so they're gonna try a last-minute loot at the docking bay. And that way, all the information still gets with the text and the markers. The information goes across to the player, but it doesn't affect their gameplay. Like, that's the thing with the Sarah's announcements. It's, like, it gets the information across, but it affects the gameplay of every player because, well, you know, it's fair because it affects all of the players at the same time, but it affects the gameplay overall. In a negative sense, is that the control from the player, in a way, has been taken away because Sarah is, you know, doing that jazz. Law-wise, it makes sense, but in these training scenarios, these announcements make very little sense. Like when you're playing co-op and you're walking around the Dreamland, or in general, just doing something that isn't a combat exercise with the other candidates, it makes sense to have those kind of announcements that you get on the multiplayer maps and all that jazz. But when you have an actual combat exercise, it should not be. There should not be, like, announcements unless they are critical, like something has escaped at level 4. You know, that's probably something they would cancel out the exercise or something like that, which is actually something that I said before that it would be cool later down the line to have these if you would have a small chance in a middle match, unless it's a competitive, you would have different servers. So if you were playing casual, it could just in the middle of a casual game just turn into co-op, from team deathmatch to co-op, because subject escaped at some level. So the exercise, the team deathmatch in this case, or domination, or whatever, it would get cancelled, and the game mode would change. The people would leave, like there would be a doorway to exit, and they, you know, so suddenly the team deathmatch turns into a co-op mission, just out of the blue. You know, some people might be like, "Ah, god damn it, why?" But I presume a lot of people would be hyped, like, "Oh, you know what? This is actually cool." Unless they really wanted to play deathmatch, and now it's like, yeah, well, I don't get to play deathmatch. I'm gonna go hunt whatever this thing is now. God damn it, I haven't been enough here to, yeah, whatever. Well, there you have it, folks. What are your ideas regarding the indicators and all that? Or that idea just I said out there? Leave it down in the comments. Until next Thursday, guys, see ya!